Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be using some photographic collage images from Collage Soup from the Bird Nerd book. So this is an awesome book. If you go and check out Collage Soup, you can buy the actual original books like this from Amazon. They also have a whole range of ebooks that you can print out as well. Full of amazing images and lots of really cool stuff. The bird one really appeals to me because there's lots and lots of birdies with lots of cool stuff, glasses, hats, all sorts of things that appeal to me. So I went through and grabbed a few pages that I liked. Ended up with those 4 little birdies and these 2 guys with the big green hats, which I really loved. And these ones sort of inspired the colour scheme, I suppose, because I decided to go for a pink and green background and took my inspiration from there. So I'm starting off in my background with some raspberry, some I think it's legit carnation, just mixing a whole range of pink colours on my background. They're all wet on wet, sort of mixing them together, and a little bit of neon in there too. I then decided I wanted to have some of that green come in, so I'm using some lime over the top. And again, you can sort of see where that inspiration's coming from the images that I've chosen. Quite often when I'm doing collage or anything really, I'll often, if I've got an idea of what I'm going to use in the foreground, so particular collage pieces, I will take inspiration for what I'm going to use in the background from that. Because I just got my brand new Dilutions ink pads, I decided to use those too. So I'm going in using shades of a green and pinks just to, again, put a little bit of texture and a little bit of interest into the background, break it up a little bit. And the reason I like doing that with a little bit of stenciling, a little bit of stamping over the top, is it helps break up the harsh-ish lines from the background. So even though the colours are kind of blended together, they're still sort of patchy. And by putting a little bit over the top, it helps it look more unified, I suppose, on the page. I then decided I'd put a little bit of splatter, because again, splatter is a really great unifying thing to put on a page too. Once I'd done that, then it's my time to sort of audition my pieces and see where I wanted to glue them down. And I decided that I really needed the other bird on here as well. So cutting the other one out so I can stick that on. Getting out my glue stick and gluing them down. Decided I want to have a little bit of a height difference happening, so put them at 2 different heights, and then using the other birds to sort of cover over that so it sort of all seems like they fit on the page. So a little bit of overlapping and just making sure everyone fits where they're supposed to. And that's what I really like about collage, is you can just play around with it until you're happy. I do tend to work quite quickly, which helps me take the pedanticness, I suppose, of it out, because otherwise I could sit and play with the images for ages. It always makes me laugh. Like collage pages like this, my journal pages, take me about half an hour to an hour on average to make. I can have the simplest scrapbooking page in the world and it'll take me about 3 hours, and usually most of that is just deciding where to put the photo on the page. So it's really funny how things can take you a lot longer than they probably should. And I think it's the caring thing. Not that I don't care about what I'm doing on these sorts of pages, but I'm less precious about it than I suppose I am when I'm using pictures of my daughters or doing something that I suppose is more special, in inverted commas there. So now I'm going in and adding some extra paint pen over the top. I really like doing this because it sort of brings the images alive a little bit, just adds that little extra pizzazz to the images, particularly adding some additional white and black on the page. So with the printing process, it's really hard to get a true white, true black. So it's always good to add it in afterwards. Plus it helps create almost like a 2D cartoony type image. It flattens it out a little bit, which you know, you may or may not want to do. This is obviously more for photographic type illustrations, so you may want to keep it like that. By drawing over the top of it, it does tend to make it look a little bit more cartoon-like. I'm also using my gold and silver paint pens, and I decided I wanted to bump up the color of green on the page. So I'm just using some acrylic ink and adding in that additional green. I think that kind of helped tie everything together a little bit. Because it was just a little bit too green, I've added in a little bit of blue as well. And then I'm just going in and colouring the pink in the background with the neon. So all the colours I've used are translucent, which just means that they're going to stick out from the back, not stick out from the background, sorry, but because they're translucent, you can see the background through them. It just helps it pop out a little bit more, which is good. As you can see, I decided to recolor his hat as well. That's one thing I love about collage, is that you don't have to stick with the colors you've got. So if you've got something, use your paints, use your paint pens, use watercolor crayons or acrylic markers, and you can change anything, make it look custom made for you, which makes a huge difference when we're doing stuff like this. So once I've finished and I'm happy with all my little birdies on the page, I'm then going in and writing a quote. So for those of you who follow my channel know this already, but I tend to go to Pinterest to look for my quotes. I tend to use a keyword to look for them. So obviously with this one, I looked for bird quotes and just sort of scrolled through till I found one that fitted. So you can, you know, put in things like you want snarky comments, or you want this comment or that comment, but usually I just use a one keyword, and that usually gets me to where I want to be. Oops. So I've written in with my green pen, then I'm going back and thickening up my letters just so they fill up the space that's left. I have written over the hat. Quite often when I'm doing quotes, while I try to use up the free space, if it does happen to go over my images, I don't really mind, because the quotes hanging out at the front, so it's you know, you've got this mid layer of interesting stuff happening. Once I finished writing it out, I'm just going around with my grey alcohol marker to put a drop shadow on, because again it's translucent, you can still see what's happening underneath, and it just gives that little bit of pop on the page. Then I'm going in with my black, and in this case I've chosen to outline the entire letter, just again to make a real contrast. Now the reason I chose to outline the whole letters in particular for this one is because with the there, that last E, if I didn't outline the entire thing, it was completely lost onto the green of the hat. So it may only have been for one letter, but I just find if you're consistent with the whole thing, it helps. It would have looked odd if I'd done one thing for all the other letters, and then just with the at that E outlined the entire thing. So now I'm just going in again just to boost the pink a little bit. I could have used a white pen, I chose to use pink just to get a little bit of a highlight on the page. And then I'm going in with white too. So I was playing along a lot with the letters on this page. Obviously something was good on TV. That just kept fiddling and fiddling and fiddling. So I like having the white on there though. It just helps it really pop out from the background. So here is a close-up. You can see how much I've fiddled around with my letters. Those beautiful images with a little bit of extra ink and paint on it to help boost the colour. So lots and lots of fun. Please check out Collage Soup. Awesome images. I'm having so much fun with them. And again, they've got obviously you've got your full books, but you can get the ebooks as well, which are a really handy alternative. Saves postage. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.